Hi there. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And in today's Facebook Live broadcast, I'm going to show you how to make this super cool origami box in box, but I'm doing it Paper Pixie style. So instead of doing traditional origami, where you fold everything first, we're going to actually do some scoring first to make it a little bit easier. So this sweet little box measures 2¼ inches by 1½ inches by 3/4 inches. And I'm going to show you a couple different sizes as well. So we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to wait for some folks to join. So I appreciate you joining me live tonight. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you. So again, we're going to be making this origami box in box, but we're doing it Paper Pixie style. So we're going to do some scoring before we do folding. So I love this pattern. This is the Petal Garden Designer Series paper. Hey Kathy, I'm so glad you found me. Gorgeous paper. I love these colors together. So I'm just flipping through that to show you what that is. That's Petal Garden. It comes in a 6 by 6 inch paper stack, which is fabulous. And I love this coordinating color of rich raspberry with it. But the colors in this paper are Calypso Coral, Old Olive, Pool Party, Rich Raspberry, Sweet Sugar Plum, and Whisper White. So we're going to wait a couple more minutes. We've got some folks joining. Thank you so much for joining me live. To let you all know, I will have a blog post about this project that will publish tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. All of the dimensions and measurements will be in that detailed blog post, as well as all the products I used. So be sure to stay tuned to thepaperpixie.com tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Hey, Miss Mary Fish, thanks for joining. And so no need to try to scramble to write down measurements tonight. The replay of this video will be posted on my Facebook page. I'll also upload it to YouTube, and it will be in my blog post tomorrow. So lots of places where you can catch the replay. While we wait for a couple more folks to join, I just want to talk about a little special that I'm offering this month. Stampin' Up! Is giving us the opportunity of an early release of one of the most popular Christmas bundles in the new holiday catalog. That catalog will be going live on September 1st. But all of us can get our hands on the early release of this Carols of Christmas stamp set, which has some fantastic sentiments and images. And it coordinates with the Card Front Builder Thinlits dies. It's got some really cool thinlits that will give you some intricate borders on the fronts of your cards. And that's offered at a 10% discount in both a wood mount bundle as well as a clear mount bundle. And if you order one of those bundles, the wood mount or clear mount, from me this month, I'm going to throw in a roll of ribbon. And I'm not sure if you've seen this bundle yet, but the samples are beautiful. And I just want to show you, this card right here uses a ribbon that some of us were like, where did that ribbon come from? And it is actually the gold. This is the silver version. I don't have the gold, but it's the gold metallic edge ribbon. The silver is a Whisper White color. The gold is a very vanilla. And they actually, from what we can tell, they dyed the ribbon the red color. So I just want you to know, don't overlook your Whisper White and Very Vanilla ribbons, because you can make them any color you want simply by dyeing them with ink refills and alcohol or ink refills and water. So lots of versatility. So I always recommend get as many white or Very Vanilla ribbons you can, because you can change them in any color that you want. So hi everyone, thanks for joining. Hey Sandra, hey Nita, thank you. So again, if you order the Carols of Christmas bundle from me this month, I will send you a free roll of the gold metallic edge ribbon so that you can make some cards with this beautiful ribbon and dye it any color you want. So if you want any details about that, those are on my blog. You can always reach out to me. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's project. For those of you just joining, we are going to be doing an origami box in box, but I'm doing it Paper Pixie style because I decided, for those of you that are familiar with origami, it's a lot of folding that occurs, and it would leave a lot of fold lines left over on the finished box. So I decided to figure out the scoring measurements, and this is the smallest version that I've made. It starts with a 6" by 6" piece of paper. The finished size is 2¼ inches by 1½ by 3/4. And let me just show you, this is a version slightly bigger that uses 8" by 8" square. And here's another version that uses 12" by 12". So you can get a lot of different sizes with this. I will include the scoring measurements for all 3 sizes, so you can make them whichever size you like. And let me show you how cool the inside of this box is. So it actually folds together. So it's kind of a self-closure and will hold together itself. And when you open it, I have 2 of the mini Ghirardelli squares, and then a little sentiment that says, "Grateful for a friend like you." Isn't that so cute? So other things that you can fit in here, you can also fit a tea light. So that's a lot of fun, a tea light. Again, 2 Ghirardelli squares. You could also put one of those mini Reese's peanut butter cups, and I'm chuckling to myself because I had one on my desk here to show you, but I may have eaten it. So anyways, oh, I love chocolate. So this will fit a little Reese's peanut butter cup. So the miniature version, again, 2 Ghirardelli minis. I think it also fits 2 of the Dove Promises. You've got to stack them a certain way for those to fit, but I love that this really is a perfect fit for these little mini Ghirardelli squares. So kind of a cool way to give someone a chocolate, or, you know, this is also really good to hold things like jewelry or things of that nature. So kind of a fun box. I actually, on this version, didn't use any adhesive, so it completely comes apart. I will show you on the live version where you can put adhesive. This is a really cool box that you can, now with the bow, it's not going to fold flat right now, but you can fold it flat and make a bunch of these ahead of time, and then, excuse me, have them ready to go. So that's something, like, let me show you an example with the large one. You can just stack these flat in a, somewhere on a shelf, and then just put them together when you're ready to package up a gift package. So thought that was really cool. I love no adhesive. So thank you, Kathy. Yes, no adhesive. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put these goodies off to the side here. We are going to use a 6" by 6" piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the Petal Garden Designer Series paper stack. It is a 6" by 6" paper stack, so perfect for this project. Gorgeous color combinations here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Simply Scored. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of different scoring lines here. Don't worry about taking notes. I'm going to have all of these details up on my blog tomorrow morning. Okay, so you can pick whichever side. This is not a directional pattern of paper. Trying to think. Normally, I'm pretty good about telling you guys, if it were directional, which side you want to have the direction go, and I will have to figure that out after this broadcast, and I'll put that in my blog post. So on the first side, we're going to go ahead and score it at 1½ and 2¼ Now I could give you the other 2 score lines as well, but that's going to be 4 different measurements. So what I'm going to do is just rotate it 180 degrees, and again score it at 1½ and 2¼ Then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, clockwise, doesn't really matter, clockwise or counterclockwise. And we're going to score this at 3/4, 1½ and 1 7/8. Again, rotating it 180 degrees, 3/4, 1½ and 1 7/8. Now I know that you cannot see any of those score lines, so as I've done in most of my projects, I've created a bit of a template for you. So now we have not done these diagonal lines yet, so try to not focus on those if you can. So the first score lines we did were at the 1½ and 2¼ and again I rotated at 180 and did that again, 1½ 2¼ Then we did 3/4, 1½ and 1 7/8. Same thing, 180, 3/4, 1 1/2, and 1 7/8. Okay? So you might be able to see those score lines. The first thing I always like to do is to fold and burnish on all the score lines. That's going to help the box have a very nice, crisp, square shape. It's also going to help us see those score lines as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I am watching the comments come through, so if you have a question, I will try to address it live. If for some reason I miss it live, I will go through all the comments and questions after the broadcast and answer your question for you. So thank you all for joining me live. Always look forward to this. I'm live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, always with a different project. Sometimes we do 3D. I've done a couple of cards, so join me anytime. And I always make my live broadcasts available after the fact on my blog and YouTube. Okay, so we've done all of those scoring and burnishing, or folding and burnishing on all the score lines. Now the next thing we're going to do, and again, you're not really going to be able to see this, but on the edge that has just the 4 score lines, so versus this one that has 6 vertical score lines. So on the side that has the 4 vertical, we are going to fold this corner down to meet this second score line in. You can probably see that on the diagonal here. Again, folding it down to meet that score line. So let me show you again. Show you what it looks like here, and I'm going to fold and burnish. Okay, so we just created that score line there. Do the same thing here. We're folding this edge to meet this inner score line. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, so we're going to have something that looks like this, okay? Oops, that way. I know that these diagonal score lines are probably throwing it off. All right, so now the side that has the 3 score lines or the 6 score lines, so I've rotated it now, and I have it where I've got the 3 score lines on either side, okay? I know that is difficult to see. We are going to first fold to that first score line there. We're folding those over, okay? And each time I do this, I'm going to go in and burnish those folds, okay? So now we've done that. Now, of this box, this is the hardest part because it's just difficult to explain. But we are basically going to pop out this edge or this triangle that we folded over. See if I can do that here on the screen so you can see it. We're going to pop it out. We're basically just flipping it out. So now that little corner thing that was folded under is now folded over the top. Let me do it. I'm going to do it for each of them pretty slowly so we can get the hang of it. Okay. And then do it on the other side. Again, we're just popping this little triangle out. And popping it out. Okay. Again, I'm going to come in, just sharpen up those folds. Oh, good. Mary Fish says easy peasy. I always wonder, that's like the hardest little thing to try to explain. All right. So then we are going to fold on the inner score line. So we're ignoring that little middle one. And essentially what we're doing is we're folding these in to meet in the middle. So it's going to look like that. Those edges are going to meet. They may slightly overlap, but that's okay. Let me just go ahead and burnish this so it stays put. Okay, so that's what we've done is we've met those in the middle, okay? Now here is where, if you wanted for your box to have adhesive to stay together, you would take, and I would recommend something like tear and tape. So I'm going to just open this up again. You're not going to be able to see this very easily, but there is a section right here, okay? You can put 2 strips of tear and tape along that section, all right? I'm going to actually go ahead and do that for this project, and I will bring back the other one to show you the difference. So I am just, let me put the tape down so then you can see it. This again is totally optional. You can put this together without adhesive, but this is completely optional. There's been a few Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that have done this project, and this is one of the things a few of them have done, putting some adhesive along there. And you do the same thing to the other side. Again, optional. Okay. So there was that middle section there we put tear and tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that backing off. Still laughing at myself that I ate that Hershey's peanut butter cup that I was going to show you fit in this box. All right, so now we're just going to go back to folding that down again. I'll just burnish it a little bit. All right, so now that's just going to make it easier. Not necessarily easier, but to pop these out. So we are essentially meeting. You're not going to be able to see that, but there's a score line here that we're going to kind of create a little triangle here. It'll make sense once it comes together. And actually, when I show you the other box where I did not use the adhesive, I can show you that better. What we're essentially trying to do is create the little square box on the inside. So let me pull back the original. What I'm doing right here is trying to create that mechanism there where that center section is a box. And that's why this is called a box in a box, because it's like a box on the outside and then a little box on the inside. Okay, so we're basically just folding these edges back to create that square. Okay, and you can go ahead and use your bone folder to make that nice and sharp. So while I kind of get those where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this down and put my bone folder in there. And once you start to make a handful of these boxes, these go together super quick. I'm just kind of doing it slowly for purposes of the tutorial. But these are kind of a cool, this would actually be a really cool box, the larger size at least, to store, kind of a cool way to store embellishments. You know, some of your craft supplies, have them in all different pretty patterns of paper and use that to store embellishments. They stack really nicely because they're nice and shapely. So, but anyways, so that is the gist of that box. See how when we crease that with a bone folder, now it's a very nice shaped square. Now that square on the inside is 1.5 inches square by 3/4 of an inch deep. So there's a lot of different things you could fit in there. Again, I showed a tea light, the 2 Ghirardelli minis. You could put 2 of those in there. A little Reese's peanut butter cup, some jewelry, kind of some fun things. There's probably some cute lip glosses or something that you could put in there. So before we close this up, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, and we're going to use the stamp set. I love this one. This was in, it's a carryover into this annual catalog, and I hadn't gotten it before, but I fell in love with it. I just kind of missed it looking through the catalogs, but I absolutely love the sentiments in this and the watercolor effect. So I'm going to use the sentiment "Grateful for a Friend Like You." Again, this set is called Bunch of Blossoms. I'm going to grab some scrap Whisper White and Rich Razzleberry is the coordinating color here. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that. I love this. It's a photopolymer stamp, so I can see exactly where I'm stamping. But for this, it doesn't matter because we're actually just going to punch this out with a circle punch. So there we go. I love when you guys chit-chat with each other on the thing. Pam, thanks for joining. All right, so we're going to first punch that out with the 1-inch circle punch. I always punch upside down so I can see right where I'm punching. Pop that out. And then got some scrap rich razzleberry here. And I'm using the 1 1/4 inch circle punch. A little preview. I've got a project coming on my blog Friday that has a little pansy punch in rich razzleberry. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. You have to come back Friday. It will be a video tutorial and a treat holder. Okay, so I'm going to use multi-purpose glue and put these two together. Pam, thank you so much for sharing my video. Appreciate it. All right, just going to glue those together. It gives a nice little border around the edge there, about 1/8 of an inch border. And then I'm just going to glue that to the inside bottom of our box. I'm just going to center it in there. And I love putting sentiments on the inside of things. It's like a nice little surprise, especially if it's going to be hidden under something like a chocolate or a treat or a little gift. So it's kind of like they may not see it until after they take their gift out. All right, so that's a little sentiment on the inside. Now, you guys probably haven't seen this punch in a while, but it is one of my favorites. Hey, Trisha, thanks for joining. This is the Bow Builder Punch. I love this punch. I just don't see it used very often, so I'm going to show you how to put it together. I got a couple of tips for you as well. So, we're going to use rich razzleberry, and the trick with this punch is, this strip is cut, this is the 8, I think it is, hold on, 8.5. Yep. So this is the 8.5 inch side of an 8.5 by 11, and this is the side that you want your punch to go along, okay? So let me just show you. You want it to be punched this way versus this way if it were the 11-inch side. And the reason for that is our paper has fibers that go in a specific direction. Now, it's not the end of the world if you punch it along the 11-inch side. It's just that your bows, when you go to fold them over, are not going to curl as nicely because the fibers are going to fight you a little bit. So, again, you want to punch horizontally along the 8.5 inch side. So we're going to punch this twice. And you're going to end up with 6 pieces, but you only need 5. Okay, so you got the 2 for the loops, the 2 for the tails, and you got 2 of these. You only need 1 of those. I'm just going to discard one of them. And then we are going to use a bone folder and just gently curl those bow pieces. That's just going to help it form its shape. And you can certainly use glue dots for this project. It'd be much quicker, but the glue dots give a lot of thickness to it that makes it hard to wrap the centerpiece, and that'll make a little more sense when we get to that point. So I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue here on that little tab, and I'm just meeting these 2 tabs together. I'm just going to hold that between my fingers for a few seconds. Okay, I'm going to do that to the other one. And we're just kind of layering all these pieces together. Now, certainly you wouldn't want to sit here and make like 100 of these because that would be a lot of work. But it is such a cute little bow to make a few of them at least. So, all right, so there's those 2 bow loop pieces. We're going to glue those together. Again, we're using those tabs. The tabs are kind of your guide to put it together. And it's okay if some glue oozes out. You're not going to see it. Okay, we're going to hide that with a little wrap. And then next I do, you could certainly do the wrap now if you wanted to, but I kind of like to put the bow ends, and it really doesn't matter which one's your front or your back. But again, I'm just lining up that tab. And And that liquid multi-purpose glue lets you kind of shift things around before it adheres if you need to. My favorite kind of glue. All right, so that's pretty much the bow. The finishing touch is going to be this little band piece here, and I'm just going to use my bone folder and curve it just slightly. And then what I like to do is start putting it on the front, then wrap to the back, and I do one side at a time, little glue dots, and just with my thumbnail kind of hold that in place. And then turn it around and do the other side. And that's all right. Again, this is the back if there's some glue oozing out. And there is our super cute little rich razzleberry bow. Okay, put the glue away. Oh, actually I will need the glue in just a second. The next thing I'm gonna do is show you, I don't know if you can see, but there's like this little pocket that gets created here. And that's gonna allow you to fit one lid inside the other. You might have to work it a little bit to get it to do so, but I just kind of feed it in there. And it will ultimately hold itself together. Now there's a couple other ways you could close this. You could certainly use a belly band to hold it together. You would not have to tuck it in, but I love, this is one of my favorite origami projects for two reasons. You don't need adhesive, and it also holds itself together closed. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so now I'm just gonna glue this little bow on the top. And again, multi-purpose glue. You could certainly use dimensionals as well, but I'll put some glue on the back of the center and then just a little bit on either side. Okay, then we're just going to put that down on the top here. And I'm just centering it on the top. Thank you, Mary and Pam. I appreciate it. Yay for the hearts. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. All right. So there is our little origami box. Now let me show you. I did tell you I was going to show you this on the other box. So again, we did not put adhesive in these sections here. And then I just folded those things into place. Again, you're going to want to put this little diagonal score line here to start to form that box. But look, once you've done that, you really don't need adhesive at all. Naturally, the box is going to know how to go together. Okay, so save your adhesive if you don't need to put it on there. All right, and then again, that's just going to fit right inside the lid there, lid inside lid, and hold it together. So let's put our chocolate in here. And I may save this for my UPS guy, even though he's a dude. He is bringing me my pre-order box from the new holiday catalog tomorrow, and I just might give him this. He loves chocolate, so I might give him one of these. I don't think he cares how it's wrapped, if it's girly or not. So there we go. There is an origami box in box, paper Pixie style, because we decided to create it with score lines instead of just doing a bunch of folds. And how cool is that? And I'm laughing at myself right now because I think that this is fresh fig. It is fresh fig. Okay, so my project on Friday is going to have some fresh fig in it. Anyways, I forgot. I thought it was rich razzleberry. So rich razzleberry is really the coordinating color. But anyways, they're pretty darn close. It'll work, right? We're winging it. We're live. So that is, again, that's the origami box in box, paper Pixie style. We did score lines. All of those measurements and score lines will be on my blog post tomorrow morning. It'll be live at 5 a.m. Eastern time at thepaperpixie.com. I'd love to have you come visit me there. I post projects every weekday to inspire you. I kind of take the weekends off, and I would love to have you subscribe to my blog so you get all those updates in your email. And I also have a YouTube channel. I try to post 2 to 3 video tutorials per week. I love making those video tutorials for y'all. And my YouTube channel is The Paper Pixie as well, youtube.com/thepaperpixie. I'd love to have you subscribe over there. So if you're interested in purchasing any of the products I used in today's video, I will have those linked in the YouTube video that I will post after this, as well as in the detailed blog post that'll post tomorrow. And thank you all so much for joining me live. I appreciate it. And until next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.